If you're thinking Markham and Toronto are similar, you're making a big mistake. Because in many ways, Markham is actually 10 times better than Toronto, especially if you care about lifestyle, safety, and long-term living. Let's break it down step by step so you can decide what's actually better for you. First, let's talk about cost of living, because that's the biggest factor. Most people think Toronto is expensive, and yes, it is. But surprisingly, the overall cost of living in Toronto is actually about 13% higher than Markham. At the same time, Markham is not cheaper either. A single person can easily spend around $3,700 per month living here. So what's the real difference? In Toronto, you're paying more for a smaller space, especially downtown. In Markham, you might pay similar or slightly less, but you get bigger homes, better neighborhood, and more peaceful surroundings. Now let's talk about housing prices. In Markham, the average home price is around 1.3 million, and you usually get a proper detached or a townhouse with space. In Toronto, for the same budget, you will often end up with a smaller house or even a condo. So the real difference is not just the price, it's the value. Markham gives you more space for your money. Next, let's talk about rent. Toronto is one of the most expensive rental market in Canada. A one-bedroom apartment can cost you around $2,600 per month. In Markham, it's slightly lower, around $2,300 per month. So if you're renting, the difference is not huge. But again, space and quality of life are better in Markham. Now let's talk about salaries and jobs. Toronto definitely has more job opportunities because it's Canada's financial and business hub. But Markham is not behind. It has a strong tech economy with companies like IBM and AMD. And the average household income is close to $97,000, which is higher than many places in Canada. So yes, Toronto has more jobs, but Markham offers a better balance between income and lifestyle. Now let's talk about the crime rate. This is where Markham clearly wins. Markham is considered one of the safest cities in Canada. Violent crime is very rare, and it's safer than most cities in the GTA. Toronto, on the other hand, has higher crime rates, especially in downtown areas. So if you have a family, this one factor alone can change your decision. Now let's talk about lifestyle. Toronto is fast, busy, and always active. If you love nightlife, events, and city energy, Toronto is perfect. But it also comes with stress, traffic, noise, and smaller living spaces. Markham is the opposite. It's clean, quiet, and family focused. You get parks, good schools, less traffic, and a much calmer environment. This is why most families eventually move from Toronto to suburbs like Markham. Now let's talk about commute. In Toronto, you might not need a car if you live downtown, but traffic is still a big problem. In Markham, you will likely need a car, but roads are less congested and daily life is more manageable. So it's a trade-off, convenience versus comfort. Now let's talk about the future growth and investment. Toronto is already a mature market. Prices are high and growth is stable but slower. Markham, on the other hand, is still growing. New developments, infrastructure, and population growth are pushing demand higher. That means better long-term potential for real estate investors. In simple words, Toronto is already expensive. Markham still has room to grow. Now here's the honest truth. Markham is not better for everyone. If you are young, single, and want city life, Toronto wins. But if you want space, safety, and a better quality of life, Markham wins by a huge margin. So the real question is not which city is better. The real question is what kind of life do you want? Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more valuable content like this.